You don't think that the political parties also have some kind of blame in all of this? Perhaps, you know, when we talk about awareness, if they had told their members as well as the electors during campaign proper thing to do, I'm sure a whole lot of them would have been able to notice that their names were actually not on the register before election.
Like I said earlier, what happens if your name is on the display and it is not on the copy with the officer, which was one or two cases in Anambra that came on air. I've checked my name on display, I can't find my name here. Inwoye's case is a typical example of that anomaly. But I would like to go, let's move forward a little bit and see some other factors of these elections. And it brings me to a situation where I really want to look at the person, because the buck stops at Jaga's table. And I'll say, what is Jaga as a person doing? The man is a fantastic human being. He is a professor in an ivory tower. He is a man that breeds our future generations. The fault we have been able to find is simple. Over time, we've been using professors for INEC chairman. What about them? It's because we are thinking these men will be able to deliver because they are astute and they are intelligent. But we're forgetting one factor. That factor is, in quote, I will call the professors eggheads. And unfortunately, the political class they're dealing with are coconut heads. Typical example. How do you run a Jaga, a gentleman Jaga, against the kind of people on the floor of the National Assembly, some of them that can carry a 30-pound chair with one arm and ready to use it? Some of them women in the house that can rip a man apart in seconds. How do you pitch a man like that against them?
How do you mean?
These people form the core of the political parties. INEC is saying there's a lot of interference between the political parties and INEC. I'm trying to paint you a picture of the kind of people in those political parties. They are two people from the two different divides. It's difficult for Jaga to handle them.
So you subscribe to the school of thought, because he has also said that, you know, INEC did its best, but that under the circumstances, the politicians are the ones to be blamed because they're the ones who want power at all costs.
Absolutely correct. You're correct.
But how do you, sorry Marco, then how do you explain a situation whereby we have also seen it in Edo State, and now we're getting to also see it in Anambra State, where INEC's office is situated in the capital city, and materials don't get to so many places within the capital city, but you get to get some materials as far off in the interiors of the town. So logistics has always been INEC's albatross in this particular election.
You're correct. You're correct. But it goes a little bit further, because the logistic problem becomes a collusion between the political parties, the officers of INEC.
You think it's deliberate?
For God's sake, the quest for power is a full-time job to some people. So it becomes deliberate, utmost intent, diabolic intent, morbid intent, which is something we're scared of. And it brings to the fore the fact that 2015 is round the corner. What are we going to do? How is it going to pan out? We even looked at it, though it's outside of our constitution. Maybe we should do our elections in bits. Maybe we can get the best out of it. Because the three examples we've gotten so far are not something, if you extrapolate one state to 36, for God's sake, you all can imagine what is going to happen.
The question now some are asking out there is that INEC, how independent is INEC?
As independent as the power that be wants it to be. The thing is, if you're given a job and you're the #1 man, you have a job to do. I have seen men like Odimegu, who was made the chairman, of NPC, excuse me. And when the manifesto of what he has to do did not go well with his person, the man said, I am going home. If you're not given a free hand to do what you have to do, you have a human right to say, I am going home. You see, over time, we've had cases where INEC chairman got scared. Maybe it was the military. Let me be straightforward here. Owosu had a bad time, maybe because it was the military. He took off first and talked later. This is a democracy. The chairman can afford to talk and not run at all because nobody has a gun to his head. That is why I am of the opinion that we should, with due respect to professors, you got me this far. It's high time you do the job of eggheads and leave the job of coconut heads to coconut heads.
Professor,
So what are you suggesting? I mean, I've been mulling over his theory, about coconut heads versus eggheads. So what are you exactly suggesting at the end of the day?
Honestly, that's what we stand for. The truth should always be told. We need a tougher human being.
You think a politician should be
No,
appointed?
Not necessarily
there?
a politician. There are different Nigerians in different professions. Mampwe is here, Inelta is here, Sulaiman is here.
We're not eggheads, huh? I'm just wondering.
No. You are eggheads. But there are eggheads with coconut ability. And there are eggheads without pure egg.
A lot of
Any
people,
rattling, it cracks.
A lot of people thought that was what he was able to do with the 2011 elections, and now all of a sudden it seems that it's getting too tough.
Yes, it is. He sure is. The thing is, he made a situation on ground in 2011. The control was not totally his because it was a new house, it was a new job, it was a new seat. 2011 came and went. Let's talk about that. It's something for another day. Now, these three babies will sing. He is through and through the midwife. The three states will sing. And honestly, he did his best. At times I'll look at the man. When he came in, he had more weight. He's lost some weight. His gray bears like mine are grayer. So the man is highly stressed.
As they say, on easy lies the head that wears the crown.
Naturally.
But be that as it may, he has read the Riot Act several times. I mean, we've heard Professor Jega talk about what they're going to do. They're going to prosecute anyone who goes contrary to the Electoral Act, who goes contrary to the laws of the land. But the staffers still have a will. Can he really control all the staff of INEC?
My brother, if you have a good company to your name and you're the CEO, there will be bad eggs in it. All you need to do is to contain control.
Okay, now that
the
the man accused of ruining the election here has been arrested, what should be the next move by INEC?
Honestly, I would like to see what pans out in the prosecution of that man in question. One, there is that tendency that he has solid political backing. And when it comes to the power that be, that is politics. Politics and governance, they run pari passu. The man who sent him on that errand is sitting down somewhere telling him not to worry. Follow the tide. I'll get here out shortly. If it means 2-3 weeks somewhere, don't bother. You and I will be seated here, and that will come to the fore. So basically, if we're trying to preempt what is going to happen, what is going to happen to this man, at the end of the day, they sit the man down and interrogate him. How did you get here? Say, excuse me, sir. Mr. XYZ told me to do this. And when XYZ becomes the power that be, you are in prosecution, the investigation is truncated.
Well, INEC did something, novel again, owning up that one of its own actually messed the whole process up, and he's been handed over to the police. And they tried to salvage the situation by calling for a rerun on a Sunday. Wasn't that a good move?
Whose idea was the rerun for Sunday? On air, people were saying the political parties agreed for a rerun on Sunday. They did not agree. Because there and then, Sunday, Monday, whatever, they keep saying, we don't want it. We want another election. They never asked for a rerun. We want another election. That was what they requested for. INEC in its own, INEC is the umpire, the midwife here. It has the authority to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We want to do it at so hours. But unfortunately, they did not achieve the goal. The goal has not been achieved. The people are talking. Political parties are not happy with INEC. So basically, I am not INEC, neither are you.
Well, in closing, what should be the way forward? We know we have a whole lot on the plate of INEC. There is executive for next year, and there's the big one the year after.
2015, right? I pray that all this fumbling and wobbling along the line will make Jega a tougher man. And the thing is, he has to check in-house. If there's a robbery in the bank, somebody in the bank knows about it. If INEC is not working, somebody in INEC doesn't want it to work. Even Jesus had a problem. Judas was living there with him. So basically, I'm looking at that kind of scenario. But I want him to be on top of it. Really, really on top of it.
Well, anyway, I think that's a good place to say many thanks for coming, Bola Bakari, Vice Chairman, Truth Be Told Network.
That's it, my brother.
Well, that's pretty long, and well, anyway, many thanks for coming.
Thank you, my
Well,
brother.
Sarah Zilla takes another moment now. I will be back shortly. Join us again.